Hey folks, how are you? This is Ken. Thanks for tuning in today. Got a special video for you here. This is going to be part one of my Blackfish / Tautog Seminar series. It's my favorite subject, as most of you may know. And I'm going to give you as much info as possible. I invite you all to ask any questions at all in the comments section under this video. I will definitely get back to you and answer those questions as soon as I see them. And without further ado, welcome to the video. Let's get started. Tautog / Blackfish Seminar Series by Ken Westerfeld. Video 1. Introduction to Tog Angling. Tautog are a northern relative of the saltwater wrasse family. Their Latin name is Tautoga Onitis. General habitat: hard bottom structure. Tog are found on rocks, reefs, jetties, shipwrecks, bulkheads, pilings, bridge anchorages, in inshore and offshore waters. They can be targeted from shore locations, as they can be found very shallow sometimes. Aquatic transportation is your best bet for success: boats, kayaks, jet skis, etc. Tautog live within structure for protection as well as forage for food upon the hard structure. Tog will use their home against you, getting you snagged or breaking you off. On many tog trips, you may snag and break off and retie your rigs or jigs many times. I highly recommend to have additional tackle ready to re-rig or have additional rods and reels pre-tied and ready to fish. You will not want to spend lots of time re-rigging during a hot bite. Hot bites sometimes don't last very long. Try not to miss an opportunity to catch the fish while you're able. Know the habits of the tautog. Tautog's preferences for water depth and food sources tend to change throughout the open season as water temperatures change. When water is warmer, tog tend to be found in more shallow places, willing to feed. As temps drop, tog tend to bite in deeper water. When this occurs, very often their food choices can change with the depth at which they're found. Tautog may also have tidal preferences to feed, incoming tide or outgoing tide. This can also be temperature related. If you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Ken Westerfeld Fishing. Thanks again for watching. Your ability to be an effective tog angler also depends heavily upon your ability to anchor a boat properly. The difference between catching and not catching tog often depends upon a captain's ability to anchor a boat with precision in most cases. If the boat isn't properly positioned over productive bottom, anglers will not get bites. Double anchoring, usually bridle anchoring, is most often recommended except for some situations either where safety is a concern or in the case of a large expansive piece of open hard bottom like rocky New England shorelines where fish can often be found picked over wider areas. Double anchoring is even more important when fishing a wreck where precision can be extremely important. Understanding the effects of wind and tide are everything when anchoring a boat. Use GPS and sonar, sea charts, and your own logbooks to find productive bottom. Know your electronics well. Read the operator manuals and instructions. When in doubt, try the old school use of a marker buoy to locate the most productive piece of bottom. When fishing from shore spots, keep in mind the spots often produce best based upon the stage of tide, usually incoming tide or around high water in most places. Understanding bait choices. One of the favorite prey items in the tautog's vast diet are crabs. In fact, they will predate upon most crab species when available. Match the hatch applies in your bait choices. Offer the crab species most likely found within the habitat that you are targeting. Know the differences: shallow inshore water, medium depths, deep offshore water. Equipment choices. Match your rod, reel, and line choices to the habitat that you're targeting. Deep water togging or wreck fishing generally requires heavier, mainly conventional rods, stronger braided line, stronger leader material, and powerful conventional reels. Shallow water jigging mainly requires lighter spinning rods and reels, or bait cast setups and lighter braided lines and lighter leader material. Always be prepared for the weather when fishing. Correct clothing choices are very important. Foul weather gear, waterproof boots, all that you'll require to keep you comfortable. Tog fishing isn't normally done in t-shirt weather. Okay folks, so we're going to talk about tackle choices right now. This is my CalStar Custom. It's built on a CalStar Graphiter L blank, and it's a fiberglass and graphite blend. What I really love about it is the tremendous strength and backbone that it has. It loads up right around the 4th guide, and it has great softness in the tip to give you visual strike indication. Also, using the no stretch braided line, a blackfish really can't feel that tension on the braid when he's pulling down and the tip of your rod gives some. So I think of that as a very important feature to a really good conventional blackfish rod. Here you see it, I have it tied up with about a 6-foot top shot of 50-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And attached to that is my snafu rig. And I want to direct your attention to my other videos on my channel. Every one of the rigs that I personally use, including the snafu, I have already shot a video and they're all posted to my channel. So if you have any questions about rig tying, please refer to those. The reel you see here is an Ancient Mariner Phantom jigger, and it's a 5-to-1 gear ratio. It's light, it's small, and it's powerful, and that's what I love about it. I've been fishing this now for about 2 years and not one single complaint. I was fishing his older jigger model before that, not one single complaint, and I really have enjoyed fishing with these very much. My world record fish was caught on a Shimano Torium 14 for the record, and I wanted something a little bit nicer, smaller, lighter, powerful. So I found Spiro, and Spiro hooked me up with this. I'm very, very happy with this reel. I've caught a lot of nice fish on it, and I plan to keep working it hard. Okay, and this is my choice for my jigging outfit. It's a 7'6" Bull Bay Real Animal series, and it's medium, heavy, fast action, 8 to 17 pound test model. And I landed a 17 pound 8-ounce blackfish with this rod, as well as a 16 pound 4-ounce blackfish with this rod. They were awesome fights. You can see one of those fights, the 17 pounder, on the first ever video on this channel. Got it with an Asylum TOG jig, and this is a 4,000 size Penn Conflict 2, and it's loaded up with 20 pound test, as you see right here. That's Suffix 832 braid. This is 30 pound test fluoro leader material, And everything that you see here is described basically in my TOG jig rigging tutorial, also on this channel. So please check it out if you have any questions. Conditions, conditions, conditions. Weather conditions determine when to fish and when not to fish. Safety first, always. Weather conditions can determine where to fish and where not to fish due to wind speeds and directions. And tidal considerations. Safety first, always. Strength and direction of wind and tide will tell a captain how to anchor their boat, which direction the boat should be positioned, and where to drop your anchors. Strength of wind and tide can also tell an angler where and how to drop their line and fish most effectively. Also, choice of presentation, how much weight you'll need to hold the bottom, even how to present your baits. What you should carry in your TOG tackle bag or boat. Your preferred hooks, pre-tied TOG rigs in your preferred styles, snafu, slider, single hook, long leader, short leader. Assortment of sinkers in different weights according to the conditions you expect to meet. Necessary leader materials, line cutters or scissors or both. Quality TOG jigs in assorted sizes. My exclusive brand that I employ is Asylum Jigs Blackfish Bugs, as you see there to the right. Quality pliers and or hook degouger, tape measure or fish weight scale or both. A rag, gloves if your hands get cold, a cooler with ice, a fillet knife to fillet your catch, and Ziploc or plastic bags to store your fillet. Okay folks, so here we are with the items that are normally in my tackle bag, give or take a few things, but this is the mount of my world record fish, by the way. Okay, so I carry a caddy filled with all of the different fluorocarbon and mono leader that I use. 60-pound test to tie shock leaders can be very important. I tie them often with the 50. If fish are really skittish, I might scale down to 40-pound or 30-pound. I certainly fish 30-pound leader in considering my jigging. Okay, so I will go down to 30-pound test fluoro on my jigging. And then all those other items I previously recommended. Here's a hook degouger which basically dislodges a hook from a fish using the force of gravity. It's probably one of the safest and quickest and easiest ways to get the hook out of a fish without even really having to handle the fish much, which is a very good thing. Couple pairs of scissors, right? You may want to have your scissors to cut up some crabs. You can see these are still dirty. Yeah, so I cut my crabs, trim the legs and so on with scissors, but the scissors are very, very important for re-rigging when you're at sea. I also keep a pair of needle nose pliers. It may be to dislodge a hook. Sometimes I have to bend a hook back gently. And these also have line cutters on them, so they're pretty handy. You can use them for rigging. You can use them for dislodging a hook. And yeah, all right, so those are important items. And here you see bags of different rigs that I have tied already, right? And here's one for the camera. That is my snafu rig, and this one has a little bit longer hook leaders. And I tie them at different lengths. I don't tie all of my rigs exactly uniformly the same, because sometimes current conditions can be different, and sometimes a longer leader will work better, sometimes a shorter leader will work better. If you're fishing on a very sticky piece of bottom in particular, or a wreck that could be particularly sticky, full of snags, then you might want to shorten your leaders, or you might even want to scale down to a single hook, and that will help you avoid snags. Certainly, I have a box of my favorite exclusive brand Asylum TOG jigs, and you know, an assortment of sizes and colors to meet every different set of conditions. If I'm fishing in deeper water, I'll certainly go with heavier jigs like these. And if I'm in shallow places, then I'm going to scale down and I'm going to fish with lighter jigs like these. And I always say it, the most important element when jigging TOG is always use the lightest jig that the conditions will allow you to use, and you will get more bites. That's a guarantee. And then I always keep a box of hooks, different assorted hooks actually. There's my box, there's some 5/0 hooks, and you know, I may want to tie a rig to certain specifications while I'm out on the water. I might run out of tied rigs in my bag. So if I don't have my pre-tied rigs in my bags, that's in my rig box, then I may have to end up tying a rig while out at sea. So I'm always ready for all of the above. You can never be too well prepared, like a good Boy Scout. What else can I tell you? Okay, sinkers. You don't have to color all of your sinkers. I do it because I love to do it. I read that the color red disappears at depths deeper than 80 feet. It's one of the first colors in the spectrum to disappear. So I have a thing for coloring them red, or sometimes green, yellow, white. I mess around with colors, but at the end of the day, I really do believe that it's the crab most of all that's, you know, interesting that fish to come and investigate it and bite it. So it's all about the crab. But there you go, sinker choices. This is one of my favorite style sinkers for blackfish. It's what we call a flat sinker, and it's going to lay on the bottom flat. So in that case, your sinker won't roll, it won't move around. Sometimes rolling is good, but usually I like to have it sit in one position. I also kind of think that maybe this shape kind of resembles a crab too, and it might pique the fish's interest and get him to come over and take a look. All right.
Preconceptions are not recommended. Allow the present conditions to dictate how you will choose to angle for TOG. If you're inshore in more shallow and calm water, jigging might be the best choice. If offshore in deeper water on a wreck, conventional gear will almost always be the best choice, especially when water, current, or running tide is present. Extra power and leverage are needed to wrench big TOG from tough wrecks. Never try to dig in a deep water or a strong current, especially when fellow anglers are dropping heavier sinkers. Avoid tangles whenever possible. Always fish courteously. Folks, thanks again for joining in and watching today. Tautog Blackfish Seminar Series by me, Ken Westerfeld. And please look forward to video 2, TOG Jigging.